So you want to know what telecommunications engineers do? Well, that's a good question. Hi, my name is Lance Sloan, and I've worked in the telecommunications industry for 17 years. I'm going to try to give you a couple of examples of what a telecommunications engineer does by explaining to you some of the things that I've done in my career as a telecommunications engineer. The first step in my career, I worked at a wireless telephone company in Chicago, Illinois, and I worked in a NOC, or a Network Operations Center. And what I did in there was essentially, I was in a large room full of monitors and computers. It looked like a huge command center, and all I did was monitor alarms. And these alarms were from sites all over the city, and they were from the wireless cell phone sites. And so that's a whole job in itself, is just a NOC technician. My next step in my career, I was a fiber optic engineer, or a transport technician. And what that entailed was driving to different fiber optic sites and installing circuit packs and testing fiber and building circuits and testing them from end to end. And mainly that entailed a lot of driving, like what you see me doing right now. But I'm not driving to a fiber optic site. I'm actually driving to some training, which we can talk about later. Another thing that a telecommunications engineer might do, and this is not something that I've done before, but if you're out driving around and you see these huge towers, and they have microwave dishes on these towers, that is another sector of the industry. And you would have to be tower climbing certified, and you would basically hang those antennas and tune in those antennas, and they're point to point or line of sight. So again, I haven't done that part of it, but that would entail a lot of driving around also. You probably drive all over the country building cell phone sites or microwave tower sites. Another example of what a telecommunications engineer would do is you would work in a data center, similar to a NOC, but the data center has a lot of equipment in it, and it might be shared with multiple customers or multiple telephone service providers or cable companies and things like that, and each one of those companies or customers would have a little cage in that data center, and inside that cage would be their equipment. And I mean cage, I literally mean a chain link fence from the floor to the ceiling, locked up with just their equipment in there. And their competitor might be in the cage next door, and you would be able to see each other's equipment, but you wouldn't be able to get in there and do anything with it because the place is locked down and it's monitored by cameras and security and things like that. And those are pretty interesting places to go into. Another example of a telecommunications engineer would be where you work in an office where you might be designing the circuits that travel through the equipment. So you might not actually even ever go out in the field. I believe if you're a good engineer, you'll go out in the field once in a while, but you might just design the path, because the circuits have to travel through lots of different equipment to get from point to point. And that would take a lot to know all of that. So the question that comes to my mind when you're asking, what does a telecommunications engineer do, makes me think that maybe you're looking to get into this industry, or you're looking for a new form of income, or you're not happy with what you're doing right now. And let me tell you, the telecommunications industry is a great industry. I've enjoyed it a lot. It's made me some money. I've been able to make a good living. I've raised my children. I've bought houses. I bought cars. I bought toys. You know, motorcycles, trailers, equipment, tools, cameras, computers, all that stuff. I mean, you know, it's been good to me. But it's still been a job, you know, and what that means is you still have to work within the constraints of an employer. And essentially what that has done is has kind of driven me to look around at some other things. And what I've always wanted to do is be able to work from home. And I have found such an opportunity that does allow me the time and things where I can work from home, and allows me to kind of replace my income that I've earned in the telecommunications industry. And I would really like to be able to share that with you. And if you're interested in learning more about that, then I encourage you to click that button below, and you'll be taken to a page where you'll be able to learn more about what it is that I'm talking about. So hope this helps you in your journey, in your quest. And I encourage you to share this with your friends, and go ahead and take a look at what I'm talking about. Punch that button below, and I hope to be working with you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.